What is up, internet world, and welcome back to the channel. Today I bring you the 2023 Ford F-150 Lightning, but not the big battery, the little guy, and not the Platinum, the Lariat. Well, this is the most important part of the new truck design. Having a frunk, this is the best part. So listen, you can put 400 pounds of weight. It's got 400 liters of space. Why is it important? Because of tools. Yes, you can put anything in here and it's safe. Way safer than in the bed. And also doesn't roll around. Way safer than in the cabin because everybody can see what's inside the cabin with the little flashlight at night, 2 in the morning, bicycles, that kind of stuff. You can build stuff here to put in that is safe. And I cannot stress how important that is. Even if this thing is 20 grand more than a gas one, which it's not, you have this. I love it. And yeah, we can talk about this Max Pro where you can plug all kinds of stuff in. You've got basically a ton of plugs, 4 to be exact, USB, USB-C. There's enough stuff to power anything. This is what this truck is marketed to do, power the world. There's 11 full household plugs. And you can actually use this truck to power your house up to 3 days. That's important, but I'm so excited about this frunk that you can build stuff here and put tools. Yeah, from a guy that gets tools stolen all the time. Ooh, that's pretty quick. So this is a standard battery, not the extended battery. So the standard battery is 98 kilowatts, which is pretty much almost the same size as my Tesla. Tesla's largest battery is about 100, and that's what this is. The standard battery. How cool is that? And this thing makes 452 horsepower and 775 pound-feet of torque, which is the exact same torque numbers as the larger extended battery, which is 131 kilowatt size. Now, that thing makes 580 horsepower, and that does 0 to 60 in 4.5 seconds, because there's not a ton of guys that have done this one. This one, I would assume, does 0 to 60 in probably 5 seconds, 5.5, so not that much slower. So besides the extra horsepower and faster acceleration, why would somebody spend the extra money on the extended battery? And the answer is range. You see, the standard battery gives you 200 miles worth of range, and if you get the larger battery, you get 300 miles on the Platinum, and 320 miles on the Lariat. Because if you bought the Pro, which I would tell you is only available in the US, you can't buy the Pro in Canada. That's the cheapest version you can buy. And I keep jumping around because that is $42,000. And at that price point, it's the same as a gasoline. It's not crazy expensive like other brands and other products. It's the same price point as a gasoline engine. Now, it's not available in Canada, it's only available in the US. So for us, we have the XLT. And this is the 510 package, not the 511. It's a Lariat 510. Now the XLT, you can get it in the small battery and the large battery, same with the Lariat. But if you buy the top Platinum, you only get the larger battery. So base Pro, small battery, Platinum, large battery. In Canada, you can pick anything as long as you don't buy a Platinum. How is it on corners and how is it over regular bumps? Well, it doesn't have a fixed rear suspension anymore, which my 2021 F-150 5-liter does. And I don't really drive it that much because it's too lofty and it just doesn't feel stable and secure. I just don't like it. I drive my 22 Ram Hemi Limited all the time because it feels more controlled. It feels like I'm more engaged. It's more driver feeling, whatever that means. I just feel connected to the road, and I feel like the Fords just don't feel that safe at higher speeds. But this thing is different. The weight of the battery's on the bottom. This thing does have independent suspension, rear suspension that is, and I feel more controlled. It just feels better, more solid. So if you're looking for something in a Ford because you like the softness of it, but you just don't feel as controlled, this thing checks that box. So there are 4 driving modes in the Lightning. There's normal, sport, because of course every F-150 owner needs to have sport. Then there's off-road, and then of course towing. Now what can this thing tow? Well, it can tow 10,000 pounds if you get any model except for the Platinum. 10,000 pounds with the max trailer towing package, but when you buy the Platinum, you can only tow 8,500 pounds. And that's pretty standard across the board when you buy a Ford. You buy the most loaded one and you can actually not tow the most. Didn't know if you knew that, but now you do. So if you're new to our channel and you haven't subscribed yet, please, please, please subscribe. And that is because we run a series. Just like the Bronco, we shot 3 videos. And this Lightning, we're gonna do exactly the same. This is a 98 kilowatt battery standard pack. Then we're gonna get the 131 extended pack. And then we're doing a 3rd video to compare them in towing, real life towing. So if you haven't subscribed, make sure you do so. And check out this quality. Because this holds 400 pounds, this is solid. It's a hard, rigid piece. There's not any buckling, but it's also reversible. So if you want a flat side, you have a flat side. And if you want your measurement side with some drink little cup thingamajiggies, you have it there. Because under here, you've got a cooler. You can load it with ice. You've got a drain pin here, pull it, it drains it. Super good. The other part is Easter eggs. There are 2 Easter eggs in this frunk. One shows you can put 2 golf clubs, so nobody asks you the question, hey, does this thing fit golf clubs? Yes, 2 of them. And then there's this. You pull this up, this is where the battery is hiding, and it has a Model T from 1913. That is pretty cool. History pieces. On the side of the F-150 Lightning. So it starts off with a reverse question mark that comes from this lightsaber in the front. The wheels are 20-inch carbonized gray. Now suspension is exactly the same in the front. We'll talk about the back in a minute, but let's talk about this piece right here. This is where you charge it, but not on this side. It's only on the driver's side. Now Audi does something interesting. They actually give you DC charging on this side and AC and DC on that side. And that's something Ford should have done. On this side, you should have some sort of ability to charge. You don't always want to pick the same side. You see, my Tesla, it's kind of annoying that I have to only charge on this side. I wish I could charge it also on the other side. It doesn't cost that much. Put it in there. Anyways, if you bought the Pro, you do not get these running boards. You do get this cool light on the side of it though. I like that touch. Everything here is pretty much exactly the same as every other Ford F-150, but the big change is this rear independent suspension. It drives really smoothly. Now this Lariat does not have an illuminated lightning badge. It does have a question mark. Starts over the reverse, ends up with the real one. So the back of the Lightning is just like the front, different than a regular F-150. So the taillights, yes, they're different, but they also have this light bar that goes across. The rear reverse lights makes this thing unique. The side kind of looks the same, not that exciting, but the back is exciting. I love the way these LEDs are nice and white, they're nice and bright, and it does have a power tailgate. Come on down. The side and the back of this tailgate are like the Lariat. Regular Lariat. Doesn't have to be a Lightning. This is the same. It's got the measuring tool here. It's got the Ford. It's got these little clamp pieces here. It's got the section where you can pull this out. It drops down. You can pull this out and get in. This is the same as the other Ford F-150s. Now, as far as towing, this cannot tow 10,000 pounds. This can only tow 7,700 pounds because this is a standard battery. But the cool part is see how much you can plug in. Let me get back up here and show you. Look what you can plug in. This has a plug exactly the same as my Honda generator. And then you have 4 individual plugs you can plug in. This can plug and power anything you have at home. So back seat of the Lightning, and there's no difference. Besides the color schemes in here, it's exactly the same as the 2022 F-150 5-liter that I drive. There's no difference. It's exactly the same. Except I got a sunroof and this one doesn't. This also doesn't have the storage under the seats where you can basically lift it up and put stuff in it. It's just flat. And the back here, you do have a cigarette lighter, you do have USB and USB-C, and then you have a full-out plug you can plug in. There are vents, and it's comfortable like every other 150 out there. In the front of the F-150 Lightning. Now, it looks exactly the same as a regular F-150 with the exception of this screen. It is now larger. It is 15.5 inches, and when I measure it diagonally, I've got 16.5 inches, and that is because the border trim around it. It should be a little bit tighter, make it a bit more modern for it. But the software is awesome, and we'll get into that in a little bit. The next thing that it gives you is you get standard Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, Wi-Fi hotspot, and nav.
But let's not forget about this thing. This goes down, this does this, and I can eat. This is standard on all Lightnings. So what else can I do with this? I can eat them French fries, I can put my drink, and I can work. Now this is an option on regular F-150s, but on Lightning, you get it for free. In terms of sound, you get the Bang & Olufsen. You get 8 speakers in a Lariat or 18 speakers if you opt for the Platinum. And then what about plugs? What can you plug in? Well, this one has a cool thing because you can plug in 20 amps of power right into the socket, which is massive. They do obviously have a cigarette lighter, but it's the plug-in part that's important. Obviously, as I mentioned, you can plug in your house for up to 3 days in this. It's crazy. But you can plug in stuff that actually makes sense now. You try to use these plugs in other cars, it just pops if you want to use something that's draining, but not here, not in this Lightning. So if you start off with the door, you'll see the texture is a little bit different on this F-150, but they also have 3 individual memory seat, which is a really nice touch. Now moving on to the side dash here, you have illuminated lights for your mirrors, you have a button to pop your hood on the front, your frunk, and then you have a button to pop the trunk on your tailgate. Now the frunk does take a little bit of time to actually activate. When I hit this button, it doesn't happen right away. There's about a 2-second delay and then it pops up. It's cool because you can do it sitting at a traffic light. People look at you like you're a weirdo, but you hit it and it works. This is a sweet piece they've overlaid on the dash. The quality is really nice and it's just cool to look at. The colors they've used really match well. Good job, Ford. Where I'm missing a little bit of Lightning pieces is on the steering wheel. This is just a basic steering wheel that's on every Lariat. The dash definitely tells you that this is a Lightning. It's cool because it shows you the 76% where the truck is, even though that's not the color of the truck. But I like the layout, I like the dash. It's very modern Ford. But the steering wheel, give me something a bit more fancy than this thing. So let's take a deep dive into the 15.5-inch vertical screen. You have this icon of the Lightning that looks super nice up here. Nice touch for it. Then you have all the different options you have. Next up you have is the Alexa button, and then next up is another menu, but this is more like a quick menu button. So you have your radio, phone, navigation, media, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, and the rest of it, including games. But let's get back up to this main menu. So I hit that button, and then you have all your different options. So let's start with drive modes. You have normal, sport, off-road, tow, and haul. And they have one pedal drive. So one pedal drive is really interesting. Basically what that means is when I let go of the accelerator, the car automatically brakes. If I don't have it on like I have now, it just coasts. Like Tesla does not have this option. The Cybertruck will not have this option. You also have something called locking differential where you can lock the differential. That is pretty cool to have. A lot of people don't like the fact that this is vertical and cameras don't look that good on a vertical screen. You need to have it horizontal. This does help because it's a very large 15.5-inch screen, so this is the best I've seen with the Ford product out there so far. Next up is towing and then ambient lighting. Now ambient lighting doesn't have different colors, it's just simply brightness. Now if I want to go into my radio settings, I hit this button up there and then I have my different options. The first guy is radio, and when I hit it, voila, there you have it. Very big, very easy to use, and it also comes down here on this little slider. So it's nice that it's right down here. If you don't first get in the car and don't set it up, it will not be here. You have to go into it and then set it up, and then it'll be on the bottom. So I like the way it's done. I like they have different categories because it's a very large screen, very easy to use, and overall I'm really happy with the system. I don't think I'd change anything.
The F-150 is a banger, and I'll tell you why, for a bunch of reasons. Namely, they're the only ones in the space. This is a pickup truck that looks normal. It's not like the Hummer, it's not like the Rivian, which has no dealer base. This is an everyday vehicle that millions of people have. So last but not least, let's talk about price. Now they start obviously at a low price point when you buy the Pro in the US, and when you load it up, the Platinum can get as expensive as $100K, which is a lot of money. But the write-off game is strong when you buy something like this. So people don't care. That's why everybody buys one loaded. And then everybody that can't afford one but wants to buy one buys the base one. And then everybody in the middle like me would buy this, the Lariat, without a sunroof, but gives you everything else, big screen and all. I lied. The big screen's an option on the Lariat. You see, that's the problem with Ford. There's so many options. 501A, 510, 11, 305. Can't keep up. Unless, of course, you hit the gas. Then you can keep up. That was a really lame dad joke. Hope you guys like this video. Catch you in the next one.